Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mary Elizabeth Jones's Variety Hour.
Hello, good evening, ladies and Gentiles.
Yeah,
Hi, I'm Kaye Lazar, the announcer of the show. How you doing? And you're doing good.
yeah,
It's good. We're in the summer now.
yeah,
Yeah, that's why I'm all dressed cash. Wait,
yeah,
now I'm cash. Now I'm really cash.
yeah.
I'm almost somnambulistic.
Yeah,
So, I heard that you've been camping lately.
yeah. I've been doing this theater camp.
Theater
That
camp.
went on for 2 weeks.
Okay, now the theater camp is for 2 weeks,
Yes,
every day.
yeah. Like every couple days. Like on, I think, Wednesdays and Fridays and Saturdays.
You now at this theater camp. Do you make the the birdhouse out of the popsicle sticks or what?
No, it's not that kind.
Is that that type of camp? Is that the camp with the sleeping bags and the?
No, it's a theater camp.
Now theater camp. Do you have bunk beds?
No.
No. Okay. Tell me what your day is like at the theater camp.
Uh,
Or
we
how's it begin?
we've been learning this play called Alice in Wonderland.
I never heard of that. Alice in
I
Wonderland.
can't believe it. I
That's
can't.
that's cutting edge children's theater. Let me tell you, I've been in Alice in Wonderland a few times. A few times I played the the King of Hearts, but I also have played the Mad Hatter. And I've said this before. When you're in the children's theater and you in Alice in Wonderland, playing the Mad Hatter is like playing Hamlet. You pretend like you're the first person to ever play the part, and you have to do the nuances and the figuring out and everything. Today is your unbirthday, that type of thing. Have some more tea.
Yeah.
Now more sugar.
The
Well,
part,
now who are
the
you playing?
parts I want to be playing are the caterpillar
Okay.
and the dormouse.
Oh, okay. The caterpillar with the hookah.
Yeah.
Yes. When I was a kid, I didn't know what a hookah was, and when I think the first time I saw Alice in Wonderland was the Disney cartoon, and I thought the caterpillar was taking drugs, but I thought that was kind of cool because it was hippies.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, anything having to do with hippies or drugs, we loved. We
Yeah.
didn't want to take them, but we kind of liked them.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like 7 years old or so.
Yeah.
And I go, who are you? Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah. He's on a mushroom. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't hit home. Symbolism on a mushroom.
Yeah.
Smoking something. So yeah, and the dormouse is at the tea party, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he keeps falling asleep, or she keeps falling asleep. In your case, yeah, yeah. There's the White Rabbit, Alice, the Dormouse, and Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's actually messed up everybody for hatters. Because every time I see a crazy person wearing a funny hat, I always call them the Mad Hatter. You know why? You know why hatters were considered mad?
Why?
Because hats are usually made of felt, and the type of the chemical they use to tighten up the wool to make hats out of
Yeah.
was very poisonous, and they would either inhale the fumes from it and go crazy, or even lick it to get the ribbon on or something, and they would get some of that, and that would make them go crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mad Hatters. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great show. It's on Saturday.
All right.
It's at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
It's like a recital,
Okay.
but it's like a short play.
Yes.
It's gonna be really good. So.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, I saw a movie. I've seen lots of movies about Alice in Wonderland, but one movie kind of stood out was the a rather recent one, the one with Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter,
Oh yeah.
Tim Burton movie, and I almost walked out of it. You know why? Because halfway through it, I said, "This movie doesn't make any sense at all. It really does. I can't understand what's going on in this movie." And then it suddenly dawned on me, wait a minute, this is Alice in Wonderland. It's not supposed to make any sense. The whole point of it is nonsense. So then, then I just kind of just let it flow over me. I didn't really worry too much about that after that. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Lewis Carroll wrote it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a minister or something. Or, yeah, in real life. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just his avocation that he was a writer of stories. I don't know anything else he wrote other than Alice Through the Looking Glass and Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he was a great writer. There's a lot of there's even a version of it where the woman that it was called Dreamscape, and it had the old woman who was the original. I don't know if it's a fictional story. Was the basis of Alice, and and then the Alice. Then Lewis Carroll was writing about her. He was kind of a weird guy. He was kind of enamored of her, and the woman in it was Coral Brown. It's a British movie, and Coral Brown. It's like her biggest part. Coral Brown was famous for being Vincent Price's wife. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But Vincent Price wasn't in this movie. But she played a very good like 80-year-old Alice.
Yeah.
It took place in like 1930s or 40s or something. This movie. Check it out. Dreamscape. Oh, I've seen some movies myself, but I'll talk about them in a moment. You know what I've been up to?
What you been up
Well, I let's see. I'm actually on I'm actually high as a kite right now. I'll tell you what happened. Uh, I I think I haven't told you this yet, but I've been planning a trip overseas to China for many years since 2019. 2019. I knew 19 was somewhere in there. 2019. This is before the pandemic, and then when the pandemic happened, I had to keep postponing and and then the Chinese government was very careful about it. So I spent all this money, and my travel agency, after something like 5 or 6 years, said, "You want your money back?" And this is like in 2024. I said, yeah. At this point, I do. So they sent me a check, and I went to my bank and cashed it. And for a moment, everything looked good. It was over like $1,000. This thing, and then they said the check bounced. I think your travel agencies are crooks. Oh gosh. They said, well, actually, do it again. And they said, oh, okay, they're not crooks yet. We haven't proved they're crooks yet, but we have, but it is Canada, and we have to go through the Canadian. It's a foreign check. I didn't know Canada was a foreign country. Isn't Canada supposed to be the next state of America, the United States of America,
to?
according to Donald Trump? It is. But anyway, so I've been waiting, and I've been contacting my bank almost every week saying, is the check gone through? Check gone through. Well, just 3 days ago, in the middle of June, that check went through, and now that money is in my bank account. And for some reason, I've been making, I wouldn't say I'm rich, but I've been, I make a good living. And I was happier about getting that $1,000 than all the multitudes I've gotten up until finally after 6 years, and they could keep the interest and everything. I got I just want my money back at this point. Yeah, actually I would have loved to go on the trip, but and so I've been speaking of trips, I've been trying to plan. I've been trying to go on a trip. Oh, I've been trying to see. We always talk about going to see famous people, and in the last year I've seen, who have I seen? I've seen Paul Williams, I've seen Paul Reiser, I've seen John Lovitz. A lot of you young people probably don't know who these people are. I've seen Martin Sheen and William Shatner and people at the Comic Cons and everything. All that's been. Oh, a friend of mine just had his 96th birthday, Sid Croft, of
Oh
Sid and
wow,
Marty
yeah,
Croft.
yeah,
Yeah, so he created the Banana Splits and HR Puff and stuff, and Donnie Marie show and all this stuff. So I'm
yeah.
happy about that. So that he made it to 96. He's probably the oldest celebrity I ever met. So anyway, I'm still, I love celebrities and everything. So I had an opportunity to see two of them. Okay, but it's not going to happen. Let me just cut to the chase. It's not going to happen. I'll tell you why. There was a famous comedian from the 70s and 80s called Paula Poundstone. She's coming to a nightclub near me. So I said, oh, well, I've never seen her. I probably like to go see her. So um, she used to be very famous. She's not famous anymore. So I looked it up, and tickets to see her were like $90.
Wow.
And I said, she's not worth $90. 30 bucks I would have probably at a different place. I probably would have seen her. The other thing was in New York at the Beacon Theater, an evening with Larry David. You know Larry David
Yes.
from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes.
So I said, oh, I've never met him. I never saw him. He might be fun to go see. So I get on this waiting list, and then when I finally get through to the waiting list, which wasn't that hard because I found out that the cheapest seats to see him are $350.
Wow.
That's in New
Really?
York. Yeah. So I said, well, I'll watch him on television. I'll watch them all on television. So I don't know who I'm going to see I'd like to see. I guess the only thing I'm not going to see any more rock and roll singers. I'm going to see Taylor Swift or I'm not. I'm not. I might see free shows in town or
Yeah.
something. But I don't. The only thing I see myself doing is going to New York and seeing going to New York and seeing probably Broadway shows or off Broadway
Yeah.
shows with celebrities in them. And when usually I get to meet the celebrity afterwards, and they're usually very nice. They're happy anyone goes to see them in the theater. I think live theater is the best. That's why I always go to see your shows because it's always better to see the live theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I see myself doing is seeing these Broadway shows or maybe these Comic Cons.
Yeah.
That's always good to see the people there, the celebrities there. But yeah, for the most part, I don't know who I'm going to see in the future. I don't see myself paying $500 for Taylor Swift tickets
Yeah.
for the Jonas Brothers, whoever the hell is popular right now. Let me tell you what I've been up to, and this is great. What I've been up to. A friend of mine who actually says he knows you.
Yes,
Uh,
Dustin Wade.
Dustin Wade was running for the House of Delegates, and for the last few weeks, he's a nurse living in the 75th district of Hopewell. I don't even in Virginia, in near Hopewell, where I'm from. And I just looked into. I didn't really know him that well. I think I had met him a few times, but I didn't know he was such an important guy. Didn't know he's a politician. He knows you though. I said,
Yeah.
you know Mary Elizabeth? He goes, yeah. He sees you on all the shows, evidently.
Yeah.
I think he gives a lot of money to the children's theater.
Yeah.
So anyway, so somebody dropped out, and a mutual friend of ours, Crystal, who's in the camp, I think, with you.
Yeah.
She is like one of his campaign managers, and said someone dropped out. We know you like to talk. Obviously, you like to talk, and we need someone to narrate his political commercial. So I said, oh, I'll do that. I'll do that. And so this is a few weeks ago, and that's why you haven't seen me in a while. So I was doing the couple ads for him. One's on the radio, one's on television. I never saw them. I mean, while watching TV or listening to the radio,
Yeah.
but I have the copy of it that I put it on the internet on my page, so you could actually hear me talk. And so many people who don't even know me liked that stentorian voice. I was telling people to vote for Dustin
Yeah.
Wade. So, but he didn't win. It was a primary for the Democrat of that section for the House of Delegates.
Yeah.
Now, the House of Delegates is, for lack of a better term, it's like the Congress. It's like being a congressman in your state. You represent your district, which is important because you want to change things, state laws for your district. And he's from that area, so he wanted, so he knows the problems, that places like that have. They all have problems with getting traffic done and getting food to the right people, getting health care to the right people.
Yeah.
So I touted that in the announcement. So then I wanted to continue my relationships with in politics because I'll tell you about this in a moment. I actually helped another guy in politics, and years ago, many years, like 30 years ago. Uh, so I so I was so it said we need people to knock on doors and tell people to vote. And I said, "Oh, I can do that." So I was driving all over this area and knocking on doors. Now I've had experience knocking on doors. I used to sell vacuum cleaners. I used to sell. No, I'm just kidding. I'm one who likes to go out and talk to people, and the people were very nice. I only had one person that says, "We're not interested. We're not interested."
Yeah.
But for the most part, they were happy, and I realized all the nice people. I'm sure some of them voted for Dustin. I'm not sure it did a lot of help, but I think when he did it, it probably helped because whenever I meet the politician, I usually vote for him. He's a
Yeah.
friend of mine now. I can't.
Yeah.
But I was Dustin has a brother, and I was going with him. So every time they'd say, "Who is this guy?" I said, "Well, I can't really. His picture's on the little piece of paper I got for you, but I'll give it to you. But there's his brother over there." So his brother's only 20 years old. So uh, so when it was all over, we went to a party, and it was at the fanciest restaurant in Hopewell.
Called Birdhouse.
It's called the Boathouse. In fact, when I was a kid, it was called something else when I was a kid, but it was still the fanciest restaurant in Hopewell. It's all about lobster and crepes and filet mignon and Chateaubriand and Moet and Dom Perignon champagne and all that stuff. So I get there and so I said, well, I'd get all this free food and free drinks and everything. I go there. They said, "Oh, we ran a really bare bones campaign. There's no free drinks and free food here. You could order lobster for like $100 here if you want to enjoy." I said, "No, I don't want to do that." I just took off. I'd rather I'd rather I'd rather, I'd rather eat cheese and crackers at home. But I said hello to everybody and everything, and that was fun. Now, the last campaign I worked on was 30 years ago, and it was for the Commonwealth Attorney in Richmond. Same thing, kind of situation happened. He was a friend of mine. I went to college with this guy. He was running for Commonwealth Attorney. Now, if you know what the Commonwealth Attorney is, Commonwealth Attorney is sort of like the district attorney. He sends all the crooks to jail. You know, okay. The district attorney, obviously, the prosecutor. And he was supported by the Ukrop brothers because they didn't like the other guy that was running against him. His name was Morrissey.
Jim Morrissey.
Jim, he
Joe
was
Morrissey.
Joe Morrissey was always in
That's right.
fist fights and everything, which is actually a good thing when you're a politician and you get arrested. He was using his mugshot as a campaign poster. Look, I'm willing to go to jail for you. Rather than to get you out of jail, I'm willing to go to jail. And that actually helps, believe it or not. But Joe Morrissey had a tinge of it was kind of a dark side to him. I know Joe Morrissey. He was always nice to me. They're always nice. Everyone's nice to me. So this guy is, I didn't even give you his name. The Commonwealth Attorney's name was David Hicks, and he did win. And David Hicks, I went to college with at UVA. And so, but because the Ukrop brothers, they were big millionaires in town and owned this chain of grocery stores. Everywhere we went, there was wine, there was shrimp, there was roast beef, the little sandwiches with the roast beef. There was a little the melons with
The White House roll.
the White House rolls. There was that was plenty of White House. There was the toothpick and the melon. I mean, I don't think I ate at home or in a restaurant the whole 2 or 3 weeks I was working for this. Because everywhere I went, and then I was drinking a lot of wine there those days too. Wine doesn't really have in those days didn't have too much effect on me. It depends how much I drank, but yeah, I could drink a glass or so at a stop, and that was fine. So I don't drink it all anymore. So anyway, so everywhere I went, and he won. Now let me tell you about David Hicks, this guy who won the Commonwealth Attorney. He was there for about, I guess, 4 years or 6 years or so, and then I think I don't know what happened. He either got voted out or he retired. And then he started doing ads on TV. You're gonna love this. Um, as a defense attorney, you know what a defense attorney is? He defends the crooks.
Yes.
He used to put the crooks in jail, and now he's the defense attorney. A lot of these guys, that's where the money is, defense attorney. and he would basically the tone of every commercial for a defense attorney is, I, I used to prosecute crooks like you. Now I'll defend crooks like you. I know how to do it. I know all the ins and outs. You can't get a better guy than me to hire. And I remember, I think it was Jerry Falwell had this. It's in the movie about where with Larry Flint, where they sue each other, and Larry Flint. Larry Flint won. It had to do with censorship or something. In the movie, The People vs. Larry Flint, you see this happen. Well, what happened was Larry Flint's lawyer, was against Jerry Falwell. But then years later, when Jerry Falwell had, I think, problems with the PTL club and Jim and Tammy Baker, he hired the same lawyer that defeated him with Larry Flint as his defense lawyer. In other words, to say that shows that says I know you're a good lawyer because you defeated me. So I want you now to defeat. I want you on my team now. So that's what happened. I think the mayor of no, it was the defense attorney for gangsters in what was his name? Oscar. Not I keep saying Oscar Goldman from the $6 million man, but I think his name was Oscar, was something good. Oscar Goodman, that was his name, and he was the mayor. He ran for mayor of Las Vegas, and he used to be a defense attorney for the crooks. It's in the movie Casino, and he defended really bad guys, and then he ran for mayor and won. And then when they made the movie, he was like the sitting mayor of Las Vegas. When they made the movie, Martin Scorsese film, and they needed a guy to play Oscar Goodman, they hired the real Oscar Goodman. And he says, "Well, what can you tell me about the guys you defended in that trial, the Joe Pesci character and everything?" Yeah. He says, "Oh, they're bad guys." He put a guy's head in a vice, and I mean, he did a lot of terrible things. This guy that he defended, but that's what a lawyer does. Everybody gets a good defense. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that movie, My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, My Cousin Vinny. Well, that's another lawyer film with Joe Pesci. Yeah, with the Marissa Tomei. Isn't that something? Yeah.
And Fred Gwynn.
Fred Gwynn, Herman Munster plays the judge in it, and Ralph Macchio was in it. He was in the Karate Kid. I think he's the the cousin. Yeah. But yeah, that's a really good movie.
I like when Fred Gwynn gets on him for wearing attire.
Yeah.
Like inappropriate attire.
He was wearing like a tux, like a wedding singer would wear. Yeah. Speaking of, look at what I'm wearing today because it's so hot, and it's summertime now. I'm wearing this really. I don't usually wear this. I think it's like what a protester would wear. A sport coat, but and believe it or not, I cannot read what this says. It's all gibberish. I mean, I can read probably the words, but I don't think it means anything. And then over here, if I can get up, it's all like written on the back here. You can see that. So it's one of those coats I only wear when I don't care if I get it messed up because it can't get any more messed up than this. But I always want to look my best.
Yeah, I look at my best too. So. But tell me what you're wearing. I'm wearing this shirt that I got from a concert on my birthday.
Well, what's the? I see some writing on it at the top. What's that? Tell me.
It's called Ferrante Calavera.
Today, like a salsa band or something, or?
Yeah, it's like a salsa band. They're really good.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, we went to this place in Carytown.
Okay.
Called the Reveille.
Okay.
It's right across from Galaxy Diner.
Okay. All right.
We were going to go to the Galaxy Diner, but they were closed because of the water situation.
Yeah, there was a water problem here.
Yeah. So.
Don't drink the water here.
Yeah. So.
So if you're from Mexico, you can't drink the water there either. So. Yeah. So brought a little bit of Mexico to our town. Yeah, it was a really good place. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with my friends. Okay. Actually, these friends of yours, we mentioned them before. Tell me, are they in Alice in Wonderland too?
No.
Okay.
One of them has to go out of town on Saturday.
Okay.
So she can't be there.
All right.
I think my other one's out of town too.
All right.
So
the check is in the mail.
Yeah, neither one of them can't be there.
But I'll be there.
Yeah, but you'll be there.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing I do. I have nothing going on. I'm a dull guy. Life is such a bore to me.
Yeah.
I'll do anything for excitement. Like do this show.
Hopefully they'll go to the next show.
Okay. Nobody other than anyone who goes to any of my shows, I mean, that I'm in. Now, I don't really do shows like I'm not the star of any show, but usually when I'm the star of a show, or I sort of say a major part, I usually try to get my friends to go. But if I'm only in it for like 5 minutes, I'm rather surprised they show. Oh, you didn't have to come to this. I could have come to your house and done my 5 minutes for free. Save you a trip. Save you a trip to Washington.
Yeah.
And so, what else? I was talking about movies, and I saw a movie the other night. I've seen a lot of movies. I saw the Mission Impossible movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was really good. Oh, let me tell you about the Mission Impossible movie for a moment. There's a scene. There's a lot of action in it, and there's a long scene in the middle where he's underwater, drops from a submarine. He knows where everything is, and he tries to go in there, and he has to rescue some sort of software from them. And but he has to be very careful. He can't be there too long. It's like 300 feet down. You're lucky if you go 100 feet down. You go 300 feet down, and you try to raise up. You get the bends.
Yeah.
The one time I went scuba diving and wearing the suit and everything. I didn't wear the tank, but I had it was snorkeling really, but I was in the water, out in Florida.
Yeah.
When I came back in, my whole body was just shaking.
Wow.
I mean, I never had it. The bends is like too much bubbles in your blood and nitrogen in your muscles and everything, and you think you're gonna die. And the people I was with, they said, you'll walk it off. We all did this, all this, and everyone else. I mean, I'm in front of everybody, and I'm like ripping off, and I'm in my bathing suit at this point. I'm the only person who had this has happened to, and I had no sympathy from the people I was with. So I'm watching this. For some reason, that stuck with me more than anything else in that movie. The bends, and one thing about those Mission Impossible movies with Tom Cruise is that he seems to be like Superman. Everything he like 10 people go against him, and he like beats them all up. When in real life, 2 people against one guy, you're not John Wick. You're not Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
You can't defeat them. One guy, and we're about the same size. He's a little bigger than me, but Tom Cruise. I mean, all you really need is a big fat guy to sit on a guy like me. We've already won the fight. So we have to use our brains to figure out how to use someone's size against them. The movie I saw was called The Life of Chuck. Have you heard about it?
No, I haven't.
No, nobody's heard. In fact, I don't even think it's doing that well in the theaters. But I think it'll be a big hit. It'll be like the Shawshank Redemption. It's this really good film, written by Stephen King. So you've seen the Shawshank Redemption?
I've heard of it, but
Okay.
I haven't actually seen
The
it.
Shawshank was a big deal, with Morgan Freeman. And well, anyway, let me tell you about the Shawshank Redemption. I made a movie called Iron Jawed Angels, and the villain in there, the villain in the movie The Shawshank is the warden, and he's played by a guy called Bob Gunton.
Yeah.
And so I'm on the set, and it takes place in 1915, I think. And then the actor goes, "We're ready for President Woodrow Wilson to come." And President Woodrow Wilson, and it's the same actor who was in the Shawshank Redemption, who's the villain. I mean, he's one of the worst villains ever. And he comes, and everyone's like, that's the guy from the Shawshank Redemption. But then you meet, and of course he's an actor. I meet him; he's the nicest guy. He's still working, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this story, The Life of Chuck. I hate to ruin it for you. It's a really the star of it is Tom Hiddleston, who's in all the Marvel films. He plays Loki. He's the Thor. He's in the Thor movies mostly, but he's in the Avengers and all these movies. He's an English actor, and he's the beginning. I think the guy is retiring, and then the second act you see it goes backwards in time, and the second act explains what happened, what you just saw.
Wow.
And then the first act, he's a little boy, and that explains what you saw in the second and the earlier act. So it's instead of act 1, 2, and 3, it's act 3, 2, and 1, and it's so good, this movie. And a lot of it doesn't make too much sense among each other. They're almost like separate movies in themselves. But it has one of the greatest dance sequences I have ever seen. A woman is playing the drums like a busker, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, no music, just the beat.
Yeah.
And then the character that Tom Hiddleston plays jumps up and starts dancing. And I think he should win an Oscar. Now, I don't know if he should win an Oscar, but he's very good in this movie. But the actor who plays his grandfather in the third part is Mark Hamill. You know Mark Hamill from the Star Wars movies?
Oh, yeah.
He's an old man now, and he plays the grandfather, a Jewish grandfather. And he's so good. And I think, you know, everyone likes Mark Hamill. I think that time has come for him to win an Oscar. So check out, and if you don't see it in the theater, I know it'll be on streaming and on home video and stuff, and I have a feeling it's going to be a big hit. This movie, The Life of Chuck. So check it out by Stephen King.
Yeah, well, we're going to take a little break for a few minutes, so may God bless you.
Oh.